already homegoing, if you like that narrative structure, I think that's very on par with this. And then the other one I would recommend, which we've talked about before, is Milkman. Because just like as far as if you want to dive into a culture and a place, and then also the feminist issues within those.
Yeah, completely stand by those, Rex. Those were some amazing books as well.
So check out Disappearing Earth by Julia Phillips if you haven't. And before we go, Olivia, what are you obsessed with this week?
So I might have already mentioned this on our quarantine recommendations, but I'm going to do it again because this is actually what I'm obsessed with this week. But it's Grace and Frankie. It's on Netflix. It's hilarious. I'm laughing, not even watching it, just thinking about it. But the hijinks they get into, the like relationship of Grace and Frankie, they're so vivacious and funny, and it's a unique show that I adore and have been obsessed with it. So
it's a worthy obsession for sure. The two of them together are endlessly hilarious.
Amazing. Jane and Lily Tomlin.
I've had like a little bit, like Jane Fonda was just on Keep It recently. That was a great episode.
Yeah, she was.
And I was listening to Dolly Parton's America, where the 9 to 5 episode where Jane Fonda just like talks about her kind of like plot with this movie, using Dolly Parton to basically reach a new demographic that she knows she could never reach, and all of that. It was just, she's a genius. I love her.
Nice.
My thing that I'm obsessed with that we've been watching nonstop while I do my puzzles is Golden Girls was just put on Hulu.
Yes.
I'm so excited. I cannot believe how well it holds up. I roll laughing sometimes. And then also I'm like particularly excited because we've talked about before, if you want to go back and try to watch Friends, or even like mostly, especially things from the early 2000s, there's always like, I mean, more than moments. I mean, it's often where you're just like, ooh.
Clouded with racism or homophobia or fat phobia.
Right? Like all of these things. And it's
things.
Just surprisingly, this show started in 1988, I believe. Like, it's so surprisingly inoffensive. Even when it does kind of tread a line, there's this moment where they call one another a slut, but it's really more about like her kind of being a bad friend. You know, it's really interesting. I'm just amazed by how inoffensive it is, honestly, for the time period, and how well it holds up. And I don't have to like guiltily watch it the whole time.
Yeah, for sure. There is, moments where like I'll put on a episode of Friends or whatever, just for the nostalgia of it. But you're just like, this is not good. Like,
no. Well, and
they're horrible people.
Right. And even like
terrible messages.
Newer things. We were talking about like New Girl, the whole thing with Schmidt. Like every time they do one of those fat phobic episodes, you're just like, oh, can I? No.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. And that was just a couple years ago.
Right. Like so much more recent. So yeah. Anyway, if you haven't seen Golden Girls in a long time, I cannot recommend it enough. And it's just so fucking funny. I die watching it sometimes, the stuff they say. So yeah.
I could second that. It's not too often that I'm laughing out loud, at these TV shows, but Golden Girls will have me rolling.
And I didn't realize how sex positive it was when I was younger. Like the way that Blanche just owns her sexuality. And I'm like, yes, queen.
Yeah.
you go do what you want. Anyway, so that's on Hulu now. I think all of it. If you don't have Hulu, I have caught episodes on YouTube before too. But if you haven't signed up for some of these streaming services, now might be a good time to get a trial. So, all right. Thanks for listening and see you next time.
Stay safe. Ciao.